Hey guys, Desolator Magic today. Wait, what did I just say? Okay, apparently today I'm Desolator Magic, and I don't know my intro. So I'll have to fall back on an older saying, NetDeckers caused World War II. So anyway, today we're diving into Mark Rosewater's blog, Blogatog. It's mostly fluff, it's mostly ass-kissing, it's mostly just the most obnoxious waste-of-time crap ever, but you do find really interesting clarifications and like lore stuff, and I mean, it's worth reading if you can get through all the fluff crap in the middle. It is the biggest peek behind the curtain at Wizards ever, and unfortunately, it's a shame that I have to say this, this is where we have to go to get any of the details about the recently announced new product, Jumpstart. Which is sad because they wrote a whole damn announcement article about it, and then it just left us wondering, does the pack have lands in it or not? Like, just basic stuff. So I thought, okay, when a new thing comes out, Mark gets bombarded on his blog by every little tiny detail question that could possibly be asked, and usually he answers, and he did. We've got price information, we've got booster contents breakdown, I mean, everything. This is like everything you could possibly wonder about it. I've got to say, though, I'm going to start with one that's off topic because it is a spicy boy. To paraphrase it, they don't want to print Painlands again because so many people at tournaments were cheating with them. It's what he calls, quote, causing a tracking issue. In other words, they're tapping a bunch of mana and you don't know if they tap for colorless with that specific one and didn't incur the one life or if they did. And so people are trying to get away with it and then they're like, oh, you can't do that. You need 2 red. Oh, whoops, oops. Oh, I guess Shivan Reef doesn't tap for colorless this time. My bad. So because of that, I guess they were saying that they don't want to print them again. Pretty sad when that's what it comes down to. Also, Mark Rosewater's record for how many dice he could stack on Boomstacker was 10. So if we jump into Jumpstart, somebody said, is it now easier to print boosters with more than 15 cards? Or is it more like, you know, printing a deck where it's like, oh, just here's 60. Or 99 plus 1 like Commander. And he said, anytime we print something we haven't done before, it's a new printing challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge for them to print 15 card boosters at all. Have you seen the number of errors? They can't balance the ink, handle them properly, package them properly. I've gotten upside down and backwards cards, and they can't cut them correctly. At the printing facility, printing is a challenge. Here's an interesting one. Somebody says, what was your involvement on Jumpstart? And he says, next to nothing. I did a little bit of playtesting. So guys, it might actually be good. He did confirm something we already knew, that Jumpstart will be coming like by itself to Arena. There were a lot of questions about product fatigue and the release schedule, and he gets real defensive about it, but he does make a good point. Not every product is designed for every player, and they're not just saying that to make themselves feel better to cover. He said he's seen the actual statistics from surveys and from like asking people, you know, what they buy, and just the purchase numbers. And he wants to stress, very few people try to collect every single Magic thing ever made. Jumpstart and Unsanctioned are 2 completely different products for completely different people, and he says, if you're not into silver-boarded stuff and like silly gameplay, Unsanctioned is not for you. It's a release that you just get to skip. And guys, seriously, you don't have to buy everything they put out. You don't have to go to every event they hold. Like, seriously. Somebody asks, do Jumpstart packs have more than 15 cards that aren't basic lands? If not, I don't understand the high price point. Basic lands are worth extremely little. See, he's not afraid to answer some of these like kind of rude questions and very, very pointed questions that kind of, you know, take a shot at some. So he says, you need to think of this product more like a pre-constructed deck than a randomized booster. The instant playability is a lot of the value of it, and the basic lands are essential to that being true. And he didn't say this, but also they're unique artwork, and there's going to be almost none of them printed. Like, compared to basic lands in Standard, I mean, if you collect lands, these are going to be hyper rare. That is a tiny group of people, and they're still worthless, but it's a consideration. Also, that was in response to another post that I'm sure I'll get to in the future, but basically he said that they'll cost a little bit more than Standard. But of course, remember, products don't have MSRPs now. Oh, what's it going to sell for? Heck if I know. Oh, here's the kind of filler fluff ass-kissing bullshit that you have to sort through that Mark Rosewater always features, by the way, in case you wanted an example. Righteous Forest asked, it's not even a question, by the way. As a player who's always loved the innovation products and friends more than anything else released most years, Magic in 2020 feels like prancing joyfully through a field of flowers. High fives to all involved. And his answer to that, question was high fives all around. This is why Wizards keeps doing stupid shit. Oh, so now clearly Jumpstart is not draftable, but somebody asked, is there a way to draft it? Because he had stated in the past players will draft literally anything that comes in boosters. Trust me, that is true. And if I'm understanding what he's saying, you open 2 boosters for every player, and then the players go around and draft the entire booster. So that's an interesting little tidbit. That is his best way to run a super fast draft and also have it work with Jumpstart. And I actually found that pretty fascinating. So are all the Jumpstart packs monocolored? No, most of them are, but some of the high rare ones, he says, are 2-color. Fetch lands confirmed, guys. Just kidding, but seriously, they might actually be in there. Somebody asked them point blank, why are you releasing Jumpstart this year? By the way, it's considered a second innovation product. That's not something they do. That's why everybody keeps asking this. Why not just release it next year as the next year's innovation product? And he says, it makes use of a lot of core 2021 cards. So then the follow-up question would obviously be, then why did you do that? To which the answer is 1, laziness, 2, pay less artists, and 3, we want to cram as many products down your throat as possible in a year. So he did sidestep it a little bit. I mean, he answered it, but he didn't really answer it. I mean, I know I said a lot of these products are for different people, but at a certain point you're going to cross over, and you can't deny that for the average person, more things are coming out per year that they're interested in. It's just that simple. Also, here's the big question. He says, I know you can't be super specific, but you've mentioned already Phyrexian as a hypothetical. Boy, there's a lot of typos in this. I assume what he meant to say was, will this set have a higher per booster cost just like other reprint heavy premium sets, or will it not be because of the 8 or 9 lands per pack, and it'll be priced similar to other draft boosters? And if you're about to say it's not a draft booster, it's not a draftable product, you're comparing it to Conspiracy, no, they call the new standard boosters draft boosters, and the collector's boosters are collector's boosters, even though I don't agree with that at all. And then they ask, also, how limited of a run is this? And also, will it contain an ad card? So he answers, on the stream today, they said that Jumpstart will be, quote, a little more than draft boosters. So that's where I got that line from. Remember that each booster has 20 cards, and 1 in 3 will have more than 1 rare, and a basic land with brand new art. So at least 1 basic land with brand new art. So he's trying to justify the higher price, and then he doesn't answer anything about how limited the run will be, or if it contains an ad card. In the 20 it doesn't, but I think there's a 21st card that they said that will say what is in the pack. It'll be like an intro thing, like goblins. It'll be like a stylized card that says goblins. So to point out what I said before, does Jumpstart count as an innovation product for this year? If so, are we officially getting 2, 3 if you count unsanctioned? Oh, they're getting vicious here. Commander Legends, which is not out yet, is the official innovative product for 2020, but Jumpstart can be thought of as an unofficial one. I love how he says 3 if you count unsanctioned. He doesn't even address that. Unsanctioned doesn't innovate anything, so I don't know why he didn't just throw in and also no on the third one there. And one of the questions everybody wanted to know. I'm confused about the basic lands of Jumpstart. Are there 1 or several in a pack? If more than 1, do all of them have the same art? So he finally answers, there are numerous basic lands, but only 1 per pack of the new art. Somebody else went into it further. They said Jumpstart has 1 themed basic land in each pack. Can you tell us how many other cards in the pack are basic lands? Presumably 8 or 9 need to be lands, so shuffling 2 packs into a 40-card deck works. He says it's the correct proportion, so the deck plays well. So that makes it sound like it might vary. Another interesting question, both Unsanctioned and Jumpstart have a similar mash 2 different sets of cards together mechanic going on. Because remember, I think Un is like a bunch of half decks, and then you can stick 2 together, and then you get a different thing. So they said, was there any overlap in their development at all? Did one inspire the other? And he answers, they were designed completely independently as far as I know. Well, considering the similarity, maybe those 2 departments should have talked a little bit, because a lot of people are pointing out, these are really similar. Another person asked, each booster contains 20 cards centered on a theme. What theme each booster contains is randomized, but each themed 20 cards will be sealed inside the pack and labeled. Can you clarify what that means? Can you tell the theme before opening the pack, but the theme packs in a box are randomized? He says, you will have a booster pack. You open it, and inside is 20 cards inside a plastic wrapped brick. Oh, that's plastic inside of plastic. That's odd. You can see a front card which has a picture and tells you the name of the theme and what color or colors it is. For example, it may show a goblin and say goblins and tell you it's a red deck. That means it will contain red cards, mountains, and maybe some generic artifacts that a red deck could play. You then pick a second booster pack and open it. Its card might say Phyrexian and be black. You then can put them together and make a black-red Phyrexian goblin deck. So you do have to open them to find out, what the theme is or whatever. You are basically picking blind. That's why if you draft, and he says just draft the entire pack, like just show the front card. I think he said spread out all the cards so people can see what are in them. No, do it blind. Like just go by the front. That's way more fun. Come on. But anyway, yeah, since they're all themed, I guess, that the question made it sound like some of them are themed and some of them aren't, which that's not my understanding. The only question remaining is, well, is that card describing the contents the 21st card, or is it the 20th card, and you only get 19, of which 8 or 9 are lands? And by the way, they still haven't explained what a, mythic pack or rare pack is. I guess they are just hinting that there's money reprints in it. I mean, guys, come on, this is a Masters set. So that's about it for the most significant questions that he felt needed answering about Jumpstart. And after reading them, I am a lot more filled in than from the original article, which is, once again, completely sad. I've noticed that this is either, just willful bad writing and they're just lazy and don't care, or they purposely are as vague as possible until as soon before the product release as possible. Like when we start getting spoilers, then we'll see the breakdown of a booster. We'll see how many lands it has. We'll see if they're color locked, if they're fully themed, what the price is, that kind of stuff. I could guess why, if they're doing that on purpose. They don't want people to just see one little detail about it and completely write it off really far ahead of time. Which, I mean, whether they do it a month ahead of time or a week ahead of time, they've already written it off because they don't like something about it. That's a complete just BS reason. And leaving people with questions means they're going to assume the absolute most detrimental anti-consumer worst thing possible, whether that's the case or not. So being super extremely vague is not a good idea. You don't want people to say, well, I'm excited about this, but I don't know about this, or this, so I'm going to reserve my, stamp of approval for, I'm excited and I'm going to buy this for later when I get more information. That's probably not smart. You want the hype train to be going at the fastest speed possible. So give us all the details up front. None of this mysterious crap. But whatever, whenever you got questions about something new, head over to Mark Rosewater's blog if you can tolerate the obnoxious questions. Or a much better solution, subscribe to my channel and I'll just go through it for you and sift out the important crap, which is what I do with everything Wizards releases. So thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next video. By the way, definitely live streaming tomorrow.